everyone.
Yo, yo.
This is Eddie.
This is Marcus.
And we're the Average Sports Guys. This is the Average Sports Guys podcast.
Yes,
Today
sir.
is episode 71.
71.
Yeah, so we did not record last week.
Nah.
I had a bunch of stuff going on between work, personal life, all that type of stuff. So, but we are back, man. We are down. A member, Mr. Adam, is in Seattle.
Yeah.
So
Doing some field work for the squad.
yeah, man, he's doing some reporting because next week we'll be doing the NFC West.
Right.
So he's probably kicking it with Russ and Sierra.
All of them.
You know, Pete Carroll.
Yep.
No, he went out there. It's like a little vacation type thing. So hopefully he's having a good time.
Right.
And he should be back next week.
For sure.
So this week we're gonna do the AFC West.
Yep.
Full disclosure, we were gonna do the NFC West this week, and then Marcus thought we were doing AFC West. I'm diming you out. So
It's all good.
he
I screwed it
prepared
up.
for the AFC West, so that's what we're doing.
Uh-huh.
So for those that don't, no. How about we do this? Before we get into AFC West, let's go ahead and just do team news.
Right.
I'll go quick for Washington. It's not a whole lot. So the team did announce, again, we hadn't recorded in a couple weeks, but the team did announce, I think it was last week or the week before, that they're going to do 1 week in Richmond for a training camp.
Nice.
Instead of the whole training camp down there. I'm not sure if there's been an ongoing issue with the training camp facility, as far as like the city of Richmond and what they will and won't pay for and all that type of stuff. So I'm not sure. It just, to me, it didn't seem like the greatest idea. I'm all for like training camp back in Ashburn, just like at, I don't even know what they call it now. I guess it's like the Inova sports facility. I don't know. I'm used to calling it Redskins Park.
Right.
But yeah, just being there. I mean, obviously from like a focus standpoint, it's cool to go away because it's just like coaches and the players and team staff versus like the players going home every evening with their family and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, to me, you're grown, right? So you should know what your expectation is. And, if you can't go out, to the club or, to a fancy dinner or whatever, because you need to study or put in some extra work, then that's what you need to do.
Right.
But either way, so they'll be down there for 1 week. I'm debating on whether I should try to go because they are allowing fans, I do believe. And I know some media folks will be down there. So
For sure.
One guy I follow, Lake Lewis Jr., I do want to try to get him on the show. Him and I follow each other on Twitter and interact a little bit. And like he was saying, like he can't wait to get down there and, like see some of the fans that he follows and that follow him and all that type of stuff. So it'll be cool too. There'll be player interviews. I did see just NFL news wise, there's something like with the NFL and the NFLPA where they are allowing like vaccinated media members to do like player interviews, things like that.
Let's
so
go.
That's pretty cool. So things are like getting back to normal in that regard. So that'll be cool. But really, I mean, let's see. So the team wrapped up like OTAs and all that type of stuff. I remember the last time I did team news, I think it was like 3 episodes ago, something like that. People were freaking out because Chase Young wasn't there and all that stuff. He was back. He was there for the mandatory stuff. The dude is in shape. Like Chase Young is going to do Chase Young things.
Right.
I think he'll be fine. It was interesting. He was telling one of the young dudes, linebacker, I don't know why I forgot his name because I'm so high on him, but he was like kind of walking off the field.
Was it Corey Holcomb?
No. The dude we just drafted.
Oh, okay. Young kid.
I should know this. Obviously, I should know it, but my memory is escaping me. It's been a long day, man. But anyway,
For sure.
He was like walking off the field, and then Chase Young was like, "Nah, man, we don't walk in practice. We run off the field." And then he was like, "Are you serious?" He was like, "Yeah, because one day it may matter."
Right.
You know what I mean? Which is cool. And Chase is only in his second year.
Right.
So it just kind of shows you the mentor and the leader that he is.
For sure.
And then Benjamin St. Juste, the guy that we drafted, he's a corner. All reports are that he's just straight up balling.
Let's go.
I follow Pete Haley who covers the team, and he was, I saw that he had tweeted that out as well. It's like, dude is just straight balling, pass breakups, interceptions, things of that nature. So it seems like that Washington defense is going to be nasty.
Yeah.
So hopefully that pans out. One thing, so Ron Rivera did say that he's learned, and I say that in air quotes, not to not believe what he's saying, but he said he learned not to just name a starter and pretty much just like have an open competition. Fitzpatrick will be the starter week 1, right? So to me, and I think that came about too because it seems like Heineke was shining during OTAs and mini camps and all that type of stuff. But when they talked to Fitzpatrick, he was pretty much saying like, he's just been trying new things because it's OTAs and minicamp. So he's just trying different things. So at times, he'll miss receivers, throw an interception, not, get the ball into those tight windows, X, Y, and Z. Whereas you have somebody like Heineke, who is a younger player. Yeah, he's been in the league for a little bit, but he's a younger player and he's going to run the play. He's going to, do what's designed. So naturally he would show well or look like he's doing better than Fitzpatrick.
Right.
Having said all that, I stand by it. Fitz, barring injury, is your starter week 1.
Facts.
But that's pretty much it. It seems like that De'Ami Brown kid, the wide receiver from North Carolina we drafted, is doing pretty good. I believe it was a tight ends coach was asked about Samis Reyes, the tight end that we signed from the international pool of players. Right. And dude's got 0 football experience, never played football. He was a basketball guy. He went to college playing basketball. He's like a physical freak. And outside of, and so pretty much what the coach was saying, just to kind of paraphrase, was that he, outside of just his raw football, acumen and skills, the dude's got like pretty good hands and, awareness and things of that nature. So again, I look for him, if he makes the roster, to be more of a special teams guy and just kind of truly learn the role of tight end. But I'm excited there. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I got out of Washington. What's going on in Philly?
All right, so I'm just going to start off with the whole Zach Ertz thing. There's still, speculation that he will be traded to either the Bills or maybe even still the Titans, depending on, which team puts together best trade package. Last year was definitely a down year for him, 36 catches, 335 yards. The year before, 88 catches, 916. I still think he has, something left in the tank.
We just don't know how much.
Right? So, honestly, realistically, I'd be cool with a third. And we'll see what happens there. I still think that he can he can add to a team, but you definitely don't want him being like the focal point at this point in his career. We owe him, $8.5 million this year, so I'm pretty sure somewhere around at least that, maybe even actually he wants a new contract. So you're probably looking like $10 million per.
Yeah.
To get the deal done, and get him on your squad or whatnot. From there, Brandon Brooks looks. I don't know if you guys remember. I was showing pictures of his recovery from his last ruptured Achilles injury. This time he's cut a lot of weight. Like, this dude looks mad in shape.
Yeah.
And he did a whole press conference, I want to say last week, where they were asking him, how do you feel? Like, do you think you can get back to, 100%? He was like, dude, you guys remember the last time I ruptured my Achilles? I was number 1 in the league at offensive guard. Like, relax. I'm going to be okay. So I'm high on him. Lane Johnson looks great in camp. And like we were talking about, I think last week, where one thing you can honestly say so far so good with Nick Sirianni is how he got vets to show up to OTAs. A lot of those guys did show up, which is great. Another thing, Anthony Harris, a lot of analysts are saying that he's going to be the key pickup in the offseason for the Eagles, just because of how great he was as a veteran. Yeah, he had it down last year, but the year before, in 2019, he had 6 interceptions. I'm looking to see him get back to that level of tenacity, in a Jonathan Gannon defense. We did pick up Nick Mullins as a camp arm, but one interesting fact that
might be your starter.
You want him to be the starter.
Yes.
No, dude, I'll say this. Dude for the first 13 starts, he's like has the third most passing yards since he's been, in the league, which is a interesting stat. But last year, he only completed 58% of his passes from the pocket, so he's still pretty terrible.
Nick Mullins, he was in San Francisco.
He was in San Francisco before, and they just let that man walk, as they should, because they got
Trey Lance.
They got Trey Lance and
Jimmy G.
Jimmy G. From there, I honestly, just as far as news is concerned, I'm just waiting to see what happens to Zach Ertz. Offensive line looks healthy. They look cohesive. As far as camp, a couple of standouts. Jalen Hurts, man, like every time I Google anything with the Eagles, his name comes up as being that leader. He's making good throws, going through his progressions, things like that. He's looking great. Not enough. I can't say enough about the kid. Avonte Maddox, they're really trying to get him to trust his eyes a lot more, especially, in coverage. Who else? Jordan Mailata. I don't know if I said this last time we recorded, but in my head, he's got the nod at left tackle. Yes, we did burn a first-round draft pick on Andre Dillard, but, through that whole program you were talking about earlier, Jordan Mailata has really come up. He understands the position now. He's a beast, former rugby player out there in Europe. He's doing a lot of damage. I mean, he definitely stepped up last season. Who else? Jalen Reagor. What's making me more annoyed with this kid is that in OTAs, he's been running like a lot of lazy routes. And you practice how you play. So hopefully they get a lot of that cleaned up.
Unless you're Allen Iverson.
Right.
Practice. Not a game.
Practice. But Devontae Smith, dude. This dude has been getting in and out of breaks like nobody's business. He is as advertised. I'm loving a lot of the things that he's doing. They definitely put a highlight up on Instagram where this dude is making one-handed catches. Granted it's OTAs, but overall it's been a great start for him. And then we're looking to see Kevon Wallace play that hybrid role a little bit more this season. So I'm interested to see what that guy's able to do. But outside of that, that's basically all I got for Eagles news.
Nice. Well, training camp is right around the corner for everybody.
Yep.
Before you know it. Like, man, I was looking at the calendar today at work. It's already the 16th of June, man.
Yeah.
Like, this month is going quick. So
flying.
Couple more weeks, teams will be in camp, and then before you know it, it'll be the Hall of Fame game, which kicks off preseason.
Yep.
And then everybody will get their 3 games in, and then boom, season starts.
Yes,
and
sir.
then it will be a roller coaster of my emotions throughout the year. You know what I mean? So I love the football season. So
100%.
Let's get into the AFC West, man. So the AFC West, it's the Las Vegas Raiders.
Let's go.
The Los Angeles Chargers, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Denver Broncos. So, Marcus, I just named those 4. Who is winning that division?
Who's winning it? Until proven otherwise, I got to go Chiefs. You got Andy Reid, at the helm as the head coach. Regardless of what's his face, trash running back, left the team. They let him walk. What's that guy's name? Le'Veon Bell. I don't know if you saw the news.
No, I didn't see.
Oh, dude was talking. He was like, I don't want to play for Andy Reid, this, that, and the third, and I would rather retire than go back to the Chiefs. Nah, dude. Clyde Edwards-Helaire just played better than you, dude. Like when you got the rock, like you didn't really do much. So naturally you're gonna sit on the sideline, and in the Super Bowl you got no snaps.
Yeah,
yeah.
He turned out to be the definition of like the wrong thing to do when betting on yourself,
right?
Because he sat out that year, lost a bunch of money, and then after the Jets signed him, he just ain't been shit.
Ain't been nothing. And then you go to the Chiefs, right? You get snaps, you don't do much, and then you trash a legendary head coach.
Yeah.
Like, who's gonna sign you now?
Right. Yeah,
nobody.
That's so bad.
So dumb.
Like, I mean, the dude was a beast for a few years.
He was
in Pittsburgh, but yeah, I mean, he's cooked.
He lost it. I mean, what more can we say about Pat Mahomes though? 4,700 yards, 38 touchdowns. They still have Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Mecole Hardman, Darrell Williams. I like to use at wide receiver every once in a while, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah.
They definitely retooled that offensive line, right?
Yeah,
so
they
they
did.
brought Kyle Long back from retirement.
Which
They
would be interesting to see how well he performs. You know what I
Right.
mean? And what sort of position they put him in. Is he get a bunch of snaps? You ease him in? Like, what do you do?
Yep, Orlando. They got Orlando Brown from Baltimore, Mike Remmers from the Giants. I mean, on the defense, you still have the Honey Badger, Anthony Hitchens, Taco Charlton. We already know about him; he's a wash. But overall, if Pat Mahomes can stay healthy, I have a really hard time betting against that man.
Oh yeah.
Who do you got?
I'm going Chiefs, and it's not even close. Yeah, if I were to order that division, I would go probably Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Broncos.
Right. I'll do the same thing.
And the reason I put the Broncos dead last, now they do have some weapons. You and I were talking about that before we started recording.
Right.
I think their defense got better as well. They drafted Surtain, however you say his name.
Right.
Plus some other pieces. They signed Ronald Darby.
Right.
So I think it was like 3 or 4 year deal for like $30 million.
Yep.
Their offense, they have weapons. But to me, the big question mark there is the quarterback. Is it going to be Drew Lock? Is it going to be Teddy Bridgewater? So that kind of segues into what we were, again, talking about before we started recording.
Right.
Who do you think is going to start for the Broncos?
For me, honestly, long term, I think they're going to end up throwing Teddy B's in there because granted, Drew Lock has only been in the league for how many seasons?
I think this is his 4th year or something like
His
that.
4th year? Yeah, they might end
It
up.
can't be more than 5.
Right, so they're definitely going to go Teddy B's at some point because he only put up, 2,900 yards, 16 touchdowns with 15 interceptions, dude?
Yeah.
And you have, now they have guys like Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant, and Melvin Gordon. Like, how can you not produce on offense? And their defense is still pretty decent as well. Like you said, they picked up Patrick Surtain. They have Ronald Darby that they brought in, Kyle Fuller, Von Miller. He's a vet, but he still shows up on the field, and Bradley Chubb. Like, that's a pretty solid squad, dude. You have to produce, and if not, you're gonna be riding the bench holding the clipboard, fam.
Yeah, no, I mean for sure. And so, like my take on it is, I think if Teddy Bridgewater wants people to take him as a serious NFL starter, he should be able to beat Drew Lock out.
Oh,
right?
for
like,
sure.
We've seen the ups and downs, mostly downs of Drew Lock. To me, if it is a true fair QB competition going into the season, like throughout camp and even preseason, then yeah, I think Teddy Bridgewater could very well start week 1. I just don't think either quarterback is the answer to get them, to the playoffs and then deep into the playoffs and then ultimately win a championship. So that's, again, why I kind of put them at the bottom, because of just that big glaring question mark at QB. And then what are you really going to get out of that QB position? So, I mean, because clearly that offense is going to go as that quarterback goes.
For sure. So barring our top pick of the Chiefs, right? So who is your dark horse to actually take this division? Like, who do you think could upset the whole thing?
So to me, if there was an upset, it would be the Chargers. And the reason I say that to me, that would hinge on how well that defense is, because to me, that was a large problem with the Chargers the last couple of years is defense. I know we were banging on the drums when we first started this podcast 2 years ago, almost.
Yep.
Or no, not 2 years ago. I guess a little over a year ago.
Right.
Was just that. So I think if their defense can be serviceable, middle of the pack type of deal, and then Herbert doesn't have any sort of regression, I think they can shock a lot of people, and so that would be like my dark horse to sneak up and win the division.
I mean, I definitely see why you would say that, because they have Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Jared Cook, Austin Eckler on offense, Joey Bosa on defense. Derwin James is going to be healthy.
Yeah, I hope he stays healthy. Like, I always have such like high hopes for that dude,
right?
And he's just been injured, so yeah, I mean he's got to be healthy
for sure. Justin Jones, a defensive tackle, and then they drafted Asante Samuel Jr. at cornerback, so he should definitely be a big help.
Yep,
looking just like his father, and then also moving from Anthony Lynn to Brandon Staley, who is a defensive-minded guy. A lot of people are saying he has the cachet of Mike Tomlin. He knows his stuff. It's just a matter of, can he produce, right? Can he be that leader of men in the locker room and continue to get these guys wins? We'll see. I mean, that's a big question mark. And for that reason, that's why my dark horse is going to be the Raiders. I mean, Derek Carr hasn't been horrible. He put up over 4,000 yards last season, 27 touchdowns, 9 INTs. You got Henry Ruggs III out there, Hunter Renfrow, who I still need to buy his jersey.
Yeah.
Darren Waller, who balled out last season.
Yeah, he did.
And then you have, of course, you got Josh Jacobs at running back. And then they did pick up Yannick Ngakoue,
from,
who hasn't really
Baltimore, right?
Right. So he really hasn't shined that much with who was he with last season?
Baltimore.
He was with Baltimore, but for a short time, he was with Minnesota.
Minnesota before
right.
that, yeah.
So and I mean they play 3-4 defenses, and this guy's more of a 4-3 defensive end. So I think he'll be better this season, especially playing for with the defense like the Raiders, and you got guys like Jonathan Abram back there. I think they will have. I think that he can put them over the edge to possibly upset the apple cart this season. But I mean, we'll see, because again, just like the Chargers, that defense with their injuries was the reason why they really didn't shine or take over the division like they were supposed to. But not necessarily take over the division because you have the Chiefs there, but you know. Put themselves in a better position to win.
Yeah, to compete. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I wouldn't rule out the Raiders for much of the same things that you said. Now, I don't know what it is. Like, I have trust issues with the Raiders. You know.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
I can definitely see why.
Does Waller have another stellar season? You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, it's just I don't like when I look at their roster and I hear the word Raiders, like nothing scares me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the scariest thing about the Raiders is their fan base.
Right.
But not the team. So if all those things align as you alluded to, then yeah, I mean, I could see them definitely making some noise, maybe potentially even getting a wild card slot, something like that. But I just found myself pulling for the Chargers last year because
for sure.
of, like, Justin Herbert just jumped off the
Ballin'.
charts and just was getting busy with, in my opinion, not a whole lot there.
For
you
sure.
know? So to me, if you can kind of put it together, if I'm the Chargers, I'm looking at the Bills and I'm looking at how they built their team. I'm not saying Herbert and Allen are similar quarterbacks, but fuck, they're similar.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think if their coach really is truly defensive minded, I mean, and you take even the Ron Rivera approach where you stack that defense, they already have the quarterback, right? And they do have pieces on offense. So to me, it's just a little retooling, not even a rebuild. And we said that would happen, right? They're going to fire Anthony Lynn, and the new coach is going to come in. They'll have success,
right?
And it'll make Lynn look like he was worse of a coach than I think he was.
Right.
I just think he just a string of bad luck as far as, like I said, just virtually nothing on defense and players getting injured. So,
so my next question to you is Ruggs on bust watch? He had 26 receptions last year with 43 targets and only 452 yards. Is this man officially on bust watch for this season?
That was his second year? Or was he a rookie?
I think it was a rookie.
No, then I wouldn't say bus watch.
Okay.
I would say this year is telling, right? So I typically try not to judge many players until year 3.
Okay.
And if you think about it, right, like a lot of wide receivers, even like the best ones, case in point, you look at Devontae Smith for you guys, right? So Heisman Trophy winner, the dude, like you said, is as advertised. He may not have like this stellar year, record-setting year like old boy in Minnesota did.
Justin Jefferson. Yep.
Right? I don't want to say it's rare, but it's really not that common for wide receivers to be able to just come out and dominate year 1. Year 2, they should string together a better season, and then by year 3, they should really be hitting their stride. And I think they're going to really show you who they're going to be as a wide receiver. But, yeah, I wouldn't say bust watch this year unless he just starts dropping everything or he just can't create separation, what have you. Okay. Then for sure. I'll be interested to see his his targets, right? Like
Ooh,
per
for
game.
sure.
And
Right.
then, you kind of average that out through the quarter of the season, half of the season, the back half of the season.
Right.
And if they're trending down or just never increasing, then there's something wrong with the actual player, right? So, I mean, we'll see, but definitely not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
How about you?
For me, I was gonna say the same thing virtually. Like, I don't think it's bust watch yet. I just think it was just a not a stellar rookie season.
Yeah.
College wise, there's just too much tape to say that this guy's a bust yet. And like you said, you gotta watch, gotta watch the plays, gotta watch the route tree. And then the targets themselves. And if he starts dropping a lot, then there's definitely a confidence issue. There's something going on with him that you definitely got to look at as a coaching staff. So that's all I got.
Yeah, for sure. So before we wrap up, I just wanted to get your thoughts on the Julio Jones. And I meant to bring this up when I was kind of talking about team and NFL news a little bit.
So Julio Jones, I'll say this. The Titans are scary as hell right now.
Which, like, I called that he was going to the Titans.
You super called that.
It just felt like a good fit.
Like, Brown and Julio Jones.
Yeah.
And the way, and what's his face? Derrick Henry. Like, what are you going to do with that offense?
Right.
I'd hate to play him. Screw that, dude. Like, no.
And
absolutely not.
To me, Tennessee, in my opinion, can't have made that trade expecting Julio to be this dominant wide receiver that he's been, right? But I think he's going to take pressure off of Brown for sure.
For sure.
Because no matter what, if you see Julio Jones on the field, you better respect him, right? Because
100%.
He can still get busy, clearly, but yeah, I mean, when it happened, my buddy Andre actually texted me, and then I think shortly after you had texted me. I was busy at work and I didn't see it when it broke, but like I was like, that's a good fit. Now a lot of people were bitching about the actual trade numbers, like as far as like what they traded for to get him, and the thing about it is, I believe Tennessee is actually paying out his contract. Right. So it's not like the Falcons are on the hook for any part of that anymore. So, I mean, I think it was a win-win all the way around. But, yeah, I mean, I look for him to really be impactful because of who he is. 100%. And then because of the fact, like I said, he can still make plays.
100%.
And then his veteran leadership and just experience, he'll be able to teach, Brown more and some of those other younger guys. So they should really be fun to watch.
Absolutely. And then my last point is, can you really stack the box anymore? Which means Derrick Henry, this dude's going to be eating.
Right.
Carrying dudes.
Yeah, because if you don't stack the box, I mean, that dude is going to get
it's over.
Yeah, that'll be fun as hell to watch, actually. But all right, well, that was episode 71. We kept it short, we kept it sweet.
Let's go.
Next week we will do the NFC West.
Yep.
And we should have Adam back again. He's out hanging out with Russell and Sierra.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's been fun. Be sure, as always, to head over to our website, theaveragesportsguys.com.
Let's go.
All of our podcasts are there, both the audio and the video ones, the links to YouTube, all of our other social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We are there. If you guys have any questions, hit us up. Like, we would like to answer them. Or if you want to be on the show, let us know. We can figure out how to work that in.
Let's go.
But as always, I'm Eddie.
I'm Marcus.
We're the Average Sports Guys, and we'll see you next time.
We out.